Just to give you some perspective, the year 1947, the war was over. Highway 141 was put in. Gravel from my earliest memories. So I have fond memories of having to go get the tractor and pull the school bus out of the mud holes between here and the school. My sisters, Rosalind and Carolyn, are in these photos. Carolyn was 12 years older than I, and Rosalind was 7 years older than I, and Orrin was a year and a half older. But it appears as if I was the favorite even among my siblings. One of my good memories way back growing up as a boy was our quartets. So we had Orrin and me who could sight read most any music. And we had Paul Turner. He was a cousin of Frank Turner who married Carolyn. And they lived in the valley, had a dairy. And he had a bass voice from the time he was 12. He could hit low C with no problem at all. I mean, lower than low C, an octave lower. And so he was our bass, and then we would recruit whoever we could for a second tenor part, carry a melody. So it'd be Jim Alloway or Darrell Rummel or later Rudy. Could sing pretty well, but he was so much behind us. He was always short, so we'd bring a stool up, and he would complete our quartet. So I enrolled in Trout Lake School at 6 years old. I was a slightly slow learner the first year, but things that my mama taught me paid off, and I was kind of the top of the class the rest of my career through 12 grades of grade school and high school. Pardon me?
Remind me, did you play a lot of sports in school, or did you have sports?
Well, when you went to Trout Lake School, it was expected that you'd play sports. So yeah, I did basketball. Wasn't the best at it, but I held my own, especially on defense. Ran track. In our league, I was one of the better distance runners, although we had a boy from Lyle at that time, a Japanese boy, who almost always beat me. And he actually was recruited by WSU and went up there as a distance runner. Flunked out, by the way. Partied too much, I think. But he had real potential. He was running 4:14s in high school. Well, we had one cross-country meet, and I said, I'm going to beat this guy. And it was kind of an unusual course because it didn't start and end in the same place. And he might not have been aware of that, but I just pushed him all the way, and I said, I can beat this guy in the sprint. He probably wasn't aware that the end was coming up, and I passed him, beat him. My peers were Jerry and Gary Woods, the Woods twins, and John Dieters, and Roxy Burdette, and Sylvia Johnson, and there were 12 of us. 12 of us in the first grade, 12 of us when we graduated 12 years later. There were a few changes along the way. Mostly the same people I started school with, I graduated with. Then what to do? I love the farm. I love Trout Lake. I wanted to come back to the farm, but I was encouraged to leave for a while anyway and go off to school. But I worked a lot of my life on the farm for 50 cents an hour, and I had enough saved up by the time I was ready to go to college to pay my way. Of course, it didn't cost as much then. Went to Multnomah, and we had a track and cross country team there, and I was able to do well at the level of competition that they offered there, winning some races. They had the 3 mile at that time, and so I'd often run the 3 mile, the 2 mile, the 1 mile, and the half mile in the same meet. Because me and another guy were the basics of the track team, and he would do the sprints and the jumps. And we'd actually score pretty decently, but I was a wreck at the end of a meet. Yeah. Clark College, I didn't participate in sports. I had to get home on the weekends and study at nights. And WSU, they were a little higher caliber than I was used to, but I did participate in intramural events, and we'd have track meets, and the thing I remember most was the turkey trot just before getting let out for Thanksgiving. All the different dorms there at WSU would put together a team, and then we'd compete cross country in the golf course that was out east of town. And they would put their WSU would put their top distance runners out there to be rabbits and run the race. And I'd been out there running a few times, and I knew the course, and I loved to run barefoot. So we got out of the stadium where it started across the main thoroughfare there. We got on the golf course, and I threw my shoes off, and I ran the whole course barefoot. I was right on the tail of the rabbits, and got back to where I was on pavement, slipped my shoes on, and won the race. Felt pretty good about that. I remember down at Clark College, I looked and looked. I found an upstairs attic apartment for $25 a month. And I shared the bathroom with two other drunks who would occasionally come in and pee on my bed. And so after 2 years at Clark College and saving as much money as I could, I enrolled at WSU in Pullman. I drove over there by myself in the green 1954 Chevy Bel Air, and I was scared to death. In line after line in their enrollment procedure. And I had to go to the bathroom so bad, but I didn't I didn't want to lose my place in line. I'd squat and I'd spread my legs and squirm. And I remember standing there and I spread my legs too far and my pants ripped. But I got stuck up in the 11th floor of Orton Hall, which was one of the newer dorms over there, with a chain smoker. I could not believe it. He smoked in the room. Get up at night to smoke, of all things. Smoke all evening. Nice guy. I liked him, but just couldn't stand the smoke. And I don't know if I showed it in my countenance or what, but when I got back there the second year, he had room to somebody else, and I had a room to myself, which I really, really liked. I wasn't real sociable, but I had a few friends at the church I attended over there. Every night after classes, I would go up to the music room, and they had a Steinway grand piano in one of the rooms. And during that time, most of the students in the music department were out eating dinner, so it's pretty vacant, and I could just pick my piano during that time and I had some books from home, and I'd spend a half hour a day on the piano. And then I'd go back to the cafeteria when most people had cleared out already and didn't have to stand in line. But there's still lots of food left, and I'd eat, go up and watch the news, and then study till midnight. That was kind of my life at college. On Saturdays, I took a half a day off, and I'd go for a hike or a run, which was always special. I'd go for 10 miles out through a wheat field, or run over to the dairy, which was 12 miles down the road, and just look around and smell the smells.